All right, is this Bigfoot? This is by Finding Bigfoot on Facebook. Posted September 14th, 2010 by Wolfgang DiBiase for a friend of his. Found by Maximus Decimus Meridius. Love the name, but then just 19 views. Here's the authentication. 100% for sure this is a Sasquatch, and you'll see why. Coned head, yeah. Hair glistens in the sun. Rise and fall, the mid-tarsal break. The lift and twist, swing of the inline step. The hip drive in the forward leg draw. 63% long arms, tree peaking before crossing gap. You can even see a white palm, we don't point that out. And then the clincher Osmond's pads. So there's a soundtrack that's kind of hokey. I don't know who put it on there, but it's been deleted here so we can talk over it. So if you look here, there it's crossing across the gap, goes through there, and goes through. Very good to see. It's in color, green. The guy goes along, he's got a couple of views right in there, and then he gets another shot of it right about there. And that's pretty cool. And so then he says, is it a Sasquatch, whatever. So we'll see what it is. Yes, it is real. And I think that I'd love to hear the story behind how they got it. Okay, so we're going to slow it down, we're going to magnify it. It's also stabilized. It's slowed down quite a bit. So there's a tree, and it's going to appear right there as a black dot in about 4 seconds, 5 seconds. You see a little white? Little white will appear here, right there, a little white hand. That's the white hand, and then it starts going across. I don't know why they put their hand out before they go, and you'll see it stepping. See the legs are bent, and that's pretty cool, and the hand is still on the tree. Now this is important because this is the first time we've ever seen a Sasquatch actually kind of leave the trees like this. It's still kind of holding on. And this is pretty important because it could be that the big fellow really needs trees for balance. And that's why they stay close to the trees. Who knows? They kind of swim through the popples and things like that. So it goes along through here. And this is when it starts getting really interesting. There it goes. And the step that you're going to see here coming up is right there. It is really the clincher. And it's going to go down through there. And then it kind of goes through. Now, as the cameraman keeps it pretty still. There's about 10 still shots through the trees. It's kind of going through here, and it may just be turning, and then as it gets through you can kind of see it there again. It's like kind of going through. I'm not sure if we've done that exactly right, but there you can see it reaching for something. That's pretty cool. And as it's kind of going through, they're kind of going through the forest at the same speed. It's a great bit of camera work. The camera moves now. This is at real speed or half speed, I can't remember, and it's going along. And you're kind of seeing that maybe a tree peak, it just maybe just there, it moves slightly. Okay, look at that spot here, and you'll see the white balance is kind of off here, but so it's really a black versus white, and it appears and starts walking across, and you'll see a cupped hand. You see lots of good things here as it walks forward. And it focuses a little bit quickly there on the branch, and then moves forward. Now, most people would say, well, is that a Sasquatch or not? Well, we can show you that it absolutely is a Sasquatch, because if you know the morphology from the 40,000 sightings, you'll see it. If you look here, if you take it away, you'll see that there's a slight white lining on the bottom of the foot. See that little white line? That little white line is very important because that shows that white pad, especially on the black Sasquatch. You'll see that white pad. You also see it much more clearly here as it steps down a slight incline. You'll see that nice white pad right there. The paws at the top of the set, it's low, high, low. So you see the 3 lines there? That's the pattern it's going to go. It has to do that because it's going to the top of the mid-tarsal break. So it'll always rise and fall. See that? Rise and fall. We do it a few times here so you can kind of see it, but there's even more to it. So the mid-tarsal weight must extend to transfer the weight. Okay, it gives a longer back step here. Here's the Freeman footage from 1995. You'll see the same thing. Lift and fall. And I tell you, that's difficult for someone to to do. And when you see the entire move, you'll see it takes a lot of practice because it's kind of like they're walking on a tightrope. So watch how the foot will come from back. Here's a Chinese tightrope walker who spent like 85 days on a tightrope, and it goes back and forth. You'll see how it's been lifted and turned, and there's a slight twist, and it's more pronounced if it's going uphill, less pronounced if it's going downhill, and you'll see that here. It's lift, turn, boom. You see the pad there, and that's another time you see the white pad very clearly. But you see lift, turn, and set. Lift, turn, set. See how it's going back and forth? You see that foot is going from behind itself to in front of it. In the Del Norte video, which is about maybe 6 or 7 below this, you'll see the lift and turn. Okay, it's gone from behind to in front, from behind to in front. So you can see the right foot there. This is the Patterson trackway. You'll see how the feet are in line and the toes are square, and that's because like in humans you primarily use your big toe, but they will use the breadth of their toes to go there. The arm length here is 60 to 65%. There's a human that's about 41%, little short arms, but he's a good researcher. Okay, both arms can be measured 63%. It can be measured about 10 different times, but we're only showing that one here. Tree pulling, this is pretty cool. Arms will instinctively grab a tree. Okay, you saw there it's grabbing. You saw how we pointed out in the Freeman footage that they did the same thing. The Freeman also grabbed the branch. Whoever shot this video was an excellent cameraman. This proves the Danny Sweeten video was authentic. There's a hip drive and flex on each step. We haven't really gone into it that extent. There's a white balance that shows the Bigfoot in Ontario is likely real as well. When the Sasquatch reaches the wood, it behaves differently. It uses those branches. It keeps balance. It's most likely that humans and Sasquatch diverged after the hooded nose was gained, the aquatic ape theory, but it is possible that Sasquatch began bipedalism. And if that would be the case, then we'd be a direct descendant of a Sasquatch or something like that, and that would be the nocturnal forest ape theory for bipedalism, and that's pretty cool.